Right, this is video 34. I don't think I did one yesterday. I was just chilling, so I spent two nights in Novi Sad and then 2 nights in Belgrade, and I've basically plotted the route, the trip so far. To Istanbul basically. So what I've booked now an apartment, a luxury apartment, which I'm going to be late for. Fucking the day I've had already, Jesus Christ. In Jagodinja, which I'm probably butchering the pronunciation for, which is 136k from Belgrade, and I've got 50k left. I left at 5:45 a.m. It's now 12:45. So yeah, I had a puncture. Still have the puncture. Haven't replaced the inner tube. It's the front one this time, which is probably slightly better because there's less weight on it. Just Google took me down this insane fucking bullshit trail. There's no cycling options on G-Maps in Serbia, so I just put the walking in, and it took me over this elevated field. So I can't really understand why it was so drenched. Well, I can. It was completely soaked. It contained mud that I've never seen in my life before. This mud was it was essentially pure clay. It was liquid clay. And my entire bike just got completely coated in it. It got stuck to the tyres as the tyres spun round. It all got jammed in the brake pads and the pannier racks and everything. It was an absolute nightmare. And then somehow through all that misery, and it was pure misery, I got a puncture in the front tyre. So, the craziest thing actually happened before that. There's so many dirty, disgusting dogs in Serbia. People know I don't like dogs particularly. I think people that own dogs because they're lonely and it's a substitute for a child. And they're like a child. Now, there are some dogs out there which are exceptions, but for the most part, the average dog is a fucking lump of shit, and I really mean that. I'm sick of them. They're so stupid. They're such stupid animals. I don't know why someone would own something. I think it's so people have something that they feel more intellectually superior to, because in the real world, surrounded by other human beings, the kinds of people that own dogs are usually at the lower end of the spectrum. So it's kind of an ego boost to have a dog. I can't stand them. Everywhere you go in this part of the world, they're obviously all untrained and semi-wild. People are lazy in the Balkans anyway. Just bark, constant bark. Every corner you go around, every house, bark. A few instances where dogs start chasing me. I have no problem killing a dog, and I'd be content to do it. Like, I used to really be quite, not scared of them, but kind of more nervous. Now, irrespective of the size of the dog, I'm taking a blade clean out and I'm killing it there and then. I don't care whose dog it is. And one dog died today already. So these dogs try to chase me, and they crossed the road and just got fucking smacked out by a car. Literally head turned into mush, just like full on, just absolute smash. And I actually laughed, just like I laughed then, because it was karma. Like, that's what happens when you act like an idiot. You know, karma hits you, and in this case, pun is intended. Just got clean, just bashed out, just dead immediately. So that made me quite happy. That was a good start to the day, and I didn't get any dog trouble after that. So yeah, good stuff. The puncture, I'm doing a Karlsruhe scenario. So that was from a month ago now, where I got the puncture and then ran the puncture for 4 days. I'm not going to do that this time because the last day was really brutal and it kind of gave in. So this punctured tyre should be fine, I hope, for another 50k's. And there I should be able to find a bike shop because it's one of the biggest cities in Serbia. So that should be repaired for tomorrow. And then tomorrow I've got 100 kilometres for Niš, and then Sofia, which is 186 kilometres. So 186 kilometres to Sofia, which I'm going to do in 2 parts. There's a town in Serbia called, I think it's Pirot or something like this, which is on the Bulgarian border. So 136k today, 100k tomorrow, which will probably be quite brutal doing all these back to back. But I've already booked accommodation now in in Sofia, and plus it's nice to arrive in Sofia on a Friday, Saturday night. So I'll be arriving Friday. So that's literally 4 days with, what does that calculate as? Yeah, 4 days, 440 odd kilometres, approximately, yeah. So, yeah, so that's the plan for that. And yeah, Belgrade is just, it never improves. It's so shit. Like, I used to live in Belgrade a number of years ago, and Belgrade used to be fun, actually. But there's no progression at all. Like, the entire city just gets worse each and every year. I don't quite understand how it's possible. Prices go up, but the standard goes down in Belgrade. So I don't know what's going on. Novi Sad's much nicer. And yeah, there's lots of Russians in Serbia now, which is interesting. But lots of migrants from like Africa and the Middle East and Turkey and like Syria and Afghanistan, which isn't very nice. There's a lot, and it's because it's an easy way to get into like Europe, basically, because Serbia's not in the EU. It's really easy to. It's like with the Ukraine, you just people used to get like fake university college visas from like the Philippines or Africa or somewhere in Asia, and they would get into Serbia, and then from Serbia they would buy fake passports and IDs for the EU. That's what you find, basically. There's no other reason why anyone would come to Serbia, of course. Like, it just doesn't, from Africa or anywhere else. Like, there's so many other places in the world you could go. It's all about getting into the EU. So that's that's the gist thus far. I think I'm slightly out of sync with the videos now because I didn't post one. So I think, it's like, it must be like 35 days, I think. 35, 36 days, and this is video 34, so I might be two days out of sync. What else was I going to say? Yeah, the bike is really shit. So there's so many problems with this bike. The brakes are fucked. The tyre's flat. I'm going to have to keep pumping this up. It's lasting 45 minutes now, which is kind of what happened the last time I had a puncture. It gradually gets obviously worse as time progresses. But I won't leave it 4 days this time. I'll get to the city and then hopefully have it repaired. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, the roads are shit here, man. The roads are terrible. So many dogs, as I said, just a ridiculous number of dogs and stray animals. It's such a dirty place. Like, I just don't like it. I used to love this country. I don't anymore. I've seen through it. So yeah, that's the sounds a bit negative, doesn't it? It's always been negative. No, but it is a good day today. I mean, the puncture problem, so Google Maps taking me through that field, I lost an hour, then I had to clean the bike because it's solid clay, so luckily I found a cemetery with a really conveniently situated tap, so I could park my bike up against a bin, and I used a rag to wipe off all the clay, which is still somewhat on the bike, but I've never seen mud like this. This mud was brutal. Like, it was so thick, you couldn't get it off. So I lost 2 hours, and even with that, yeah, it's coming up to 1 o'clock now, so I'll leave at 1:15, which essentially means, so yeah, it's kind of only taken me 5 hours to do 80 Ks, which isn't too bad, because there's been a lot of hills as well. When you leave Belgrade, it's quite like up and down. So I thought that would hit me a lot harder, obviously being used to the flats since Austria. It's all been like flat plains down through Slovenia and Croatia. And from Novi Sad to Belgrade, it's basically flat all the way. But yeah, no, it's not as bad as I thought. So I'll leave it there, and yeah, I'll hopefully have an update later when I get to this apartment. Cool.